Friends, in part 1, I have introduced to you the skill mission. Part 2 answered some important questions like who needs skills. Part 3 was more to answer the employment and employability issues. In all 3 parts of the skill mission story, I have highlighted skill systems that we have and skill practices that we adopt. Continuing the story, the 4th part will take you through some major concerns and implementation issues of the skill mission. The first ITI, as you know, was set up in 1950 in the country. There are more than 10,000 of them established today. Did they deliver the skills needed is an important question to answer. However, they failed to upgrade, modernize with times and remained caught in time. They catered most to trade-based skills, which are terminal in nature, and hence reskilling and upskilling becomes mandatory for better placements or even to retain the current placement. These skills are not aspirational and hence not sought after. Some ITA certifications do provide pathways into formal education. Why should this be so? Probably because lack of adequate employment opportunities, some would progress into other education streams, which brings us to the need to institutionalize skills into our current education system. National Vocational Education Qualification Framework, NVEQF, of which I was the architect while I was the chairman of AICTE, currently named National Skills Qualification Framework, NSQF, was clearly envisaged to do this. That none of this has happened in the past calls for some introspection. That the skills imparted even today are just modular at a certain level is the truth. Further, complete automation in the industry has added additional pressure on the training centers, which have not kept pace nor invested sufficiently with the market requirements. This brings us to one more important question. Why was MSDE formed? If only modular skills were to be imparted, the same outcomes would have accrued if our ITIs were reimagined with better infrastructure and better finances. Skills are currently given through state-run and private skill centers in almost all the states which have been delivering in a limited way, so on and so forth. A cursory glance through the training programs reveals that most of them are trade-based, traditional, not kept pace with times, and limited in reach. Acceptability in the society for such courses has been limited. The standards of training, operational details, curriculum, and certifications have all followed systems specific to the state and have not been cohesive from either national or international perspectives, leading to disaggregated skill delivery mechanisms. Mobility of trainees both within and outside the country consequently has been suffering. Job roles that define these modules have been far removed from reality. A job role of an organic grower or of a quality seed grower or of a soil sample collector in the agriculture sector, or a job role of a measurement checker or a finisher in the apparel sector, or a brake specialist or a clutch specialist or an AC specialist in the automotive sector, or a craft baker in the food processing sector are all cases in point. In the name of creating a multitude of job roles, jobs themselves have been given a go-by. As on date, 37 sector skill councils are operational. There are over 600 corporate representatives in the governing councils of the sector skill councils. With so many industry representatives, it is a concern and also difficult to comprehend as to why jobs and job roles are disconnected. Training imparted on these job roles of 100 to 250 hours will probably entail a certificate and also reimbursement from the center. But will it fetch them a meaningful job? A judicious mix of modules would have made some sense. In the formal sector, industries over the years have been identifying apprentices under either the national or state acts and training them for their annual requirements. A small number of trainees find their way to employment through this formal route. The current skills paradigm centered around NSDC could go the ITI way if several of the concerns are not addressed, leading to the argument that skills must be institutionalized within the education system. Further, the NCVET could easily become a super regulator for skills with a complete disconnect with the university and education systems and no wherewithal to either implement or monitor. If skills are dovetailed into the current universities as should be done, that offer degrees or diplomas, it's not necessary that everyone should opt for this, but the provision must be there. These universities, being autonomous, would create their own curriculum and systems of evaluation for the award of certifications. The NCVET would have no role nor jurisdiction in such matters. The skills implemented at various levels under the current framework are for varying hours of duration at each certification level across sectors and certified by the sector skill councils, leading to different credits at similar certification levels across different sectors. Accumulation of such credits for the award of a degree or a diploma by a university will not be feasible, since the number of credits would be different for each sector for the same degree or diploma. All this would compound the disaggregation that already is plaguing the system. Several states are planning or have already set up skill universities under their existing laws. They would be autonomous and stand alone universities. Skill standardization across the country would be hard to realize. Over time, these universities would operate like the traditional universities that we have today, with all the associated baggage defeating the very purpose of imparting skills. How would NCVET interact with these skill universities is anybody's guess. Bachelors in Vocational Education, BVOC, instituted in 2013 as an aspirational proposition that helps institutionalizing skills in education, was promoted through a funding of 10 million rupees in each case, benefiting more than 125 institutions. The Skill Bureau of UGC informs this as a 3-year program after 12th and as equivalent to level 5, with the curriculum in the ratio of 40-60 as general versus skills education. Treating as any other bachelor's program with no stress on skills that were required at level 1 to 4 and no clarity on skills at level 5 to 7, it was designed to be a disaster. Imagine the provisions in NEP and how beautifully they could have been mapped with NSQF. Further, lack of defining the interplay between skills that are sector specific and education, a 40-60 division left at the mercy of colleges, rendered the entire program redundant. Since the implementation leaves no scope of lateral or vertical pathways, the program itself is currently rendered comatose. Several colleges have effectively closed the BVOC programs. In fact, any skills running college should have been mandated to be a community college for that period of time that it runs the NSQF programs, and nurtured to do better, affiliated as it is to the National Skills University, of which I will talk to you in the 5th and final part of the skills mission.